Hello and welcome to this demonstration of Daybreak. At Daybreak, we are solving for recruitment tech, and our thesis is that the recruitment softwares of today are not designed for seamless usage by employees. If you look at it, today's complex recruiting environment, employees in a company can play an even greater role in participating in all things recruiting and helping the core recruiting team and enhancing their productivity on recruitment and just helping build better pipelines and better talent branding and more, right? But the tools today do not give employees easy access to recruiting related activities, which leads to a lot of massive opportunity that's lost to comprehensively work together and improve recruitment metrics for an organization, right? So of course I'll share the deck separately, but let's just get to the product demonstration straight away. Right. So as we mentioned, the core of our problem solving approach is that employees in a large organization especially can play a pivotal role in helping in recruitment, right? And this becomes largely an employee engagement problem if you look at the core. And any way to solve an employee engagement problem is to be at that avenue where those employees live and breathe, which in today's world happens to be Slack or Teams in majority of organizations, right? So we have done our development with Slack already, and now I'll start with the formal technical demonstration of the product. So three stakeholders: recruiters, employees, and of course candidates. So we have, you could say, modules facing each of these stakeholder, and I'll start with the employee facing part, right? So like I mentioned, we want to make recruitment more collaborative, and we want to enhance the input by employees in it, right? Now these things range from you could say talent referral to giving feedbacks to recruiter you could say discussion on multiple aspects of recruitment, whether to take a person or not, right? All of these aspects fall under the bucket of recruitment related activities to be done by employees. Now what we have done here is that we have built a Slack application wherein all those things which we discussed about will live and reside in, right? So that employees, for the contribution that they have to do to recruiting, will not need to go as they go now to a link or some other application, an ATS or a talent CRM or something else. These solutions usually have been built for the power users in mind, and it often happens that the adoption for employees on these platforms is low. It would have happened many times that you took an interview in an organization for somebody, but you were reluctant to actually go and give the feedback on whatever tool the organization were using for recruitment. So the feedback ended up going on email, and the entire chain, rather than being managed centrally, started being managed on email, and then you lose activity history, and decision making becomes very unstructured because of the data being here and there, right? But if it was being delivered through simple dialog box in Slack or Teams, then it would of course be an easier exercise. So that's what we have done, and we have already built the full-fledged referral module in Slack. So what happens is that without the recruiters doing any additional thing, they just go about posting their jobs as they do, right? And when they do that, the notification comes to the all employees of the Slack or Teams, whatever that tool they might be using, that they are now hiring for a new particular profile. And then you can just also go in the home page and see the current job which has been opened, but also all the recent jobs which were there for hiring. And you can always click on view details and see the detailed job description of that particular profile, right? Be seamless. And then you can just click on refer button, and you click on and of course the form can be customized. You can introduce new drop downs, new information pieces you want to capture when you get employees to refer something. That's all is possible. And then you can go about so it just takes a few seconds for employees to submit this information, and then you get a confirmation in the messages modal that you have referred somebody. And then you also get a link. From employee perspective, what was missing was transparency from a referral standpoint, right? That I refer people, but then I do not know where they are in the loop, right? So and then it leads sometimes to other issues, such as giving out the referral based incentive, and there are often confusions around that, right? So we also give a limited view to employees who have referred, the referees, to check what is the status of the candidate in a particular stage, and other details around it, right? So what simply happens is that the engagement which was missing regards with referral is now very seamless, right? So I can quote one example from my last organization wherein the hiring was happening in full flow. The HR used to call us in the room and used to tell us that please refer, these are the incentives. But then post that there was no active engagement through which I would know that what hiring is happening at the moment. And then the efficiencies which could have come to build a better talent pool, faster closure, because people who come through referral often do less of offer shopping. They know what culture of the organization they're getting into, and likewise, right? So referral is just one thing which we have already built completely in Slack, and the application also like sort of lists out here the details, stepwise what are the features of this application. And over the next 3-4 weeks, we are also launching modules on end-to-end interview management and profile screening completely through Slack, right? So if I am an interviewer, I took somebody's interview, the notification will come on the messages modal because it's synced with the calendar that you just took an interview for XYZ. Please give your feedback. The dialog box will open just like the dialog box you see over here. And then you can just submit the feedback. And all of this data is of course completely linked with our central recruiter facing application, right? Which I will of course come to later and go through in great detail. But let's just come back to the Slack application again, right? So that's the way we are solving it. We make it more collaborative. Referral is one starting point which we have already closed, and we have tested it with a lot of customers as well who are using this part of the product day in and day out to build their pipelines on the referral piece, right? Now let's just go back to the product on the recruiter facing part, right? All right, so focusing now on the recruiter facing application. So any tool, the way we have built the Slack application would work best or would work most efficiently when it comes interlinked with a recruiter facing module, so that whenever we sell to a customer, there are no hassles of doing integrations and other things around it, right? So that the setup experience becomes very, very fast, becomes very seamless for all those organizations, right? And data exchange, of course, you keep building new things on Slack, and then since the product is tightly interlinked and built together, all of those things just organically also fall in place, right? So let's just go through this application now. First, of course, a dashboard which gives a lot of details to recruiters on the statistics on current talent pipeline, open jobs that they have in the system, talent funnel, what is the rate of application of candidates recently, and high priority jobs. And of course, we are building more modules basis our current users feedback to make it more robust around dashboard and reporting, right? Going to all jobs, so now this is where all of it starts. So full-fledged capabilities on job creation and posting, right? So you click on create job, you get a form wherein you can have all the details. Now we have put generative AI also in place. So we do not call the product as a hardcore generative AI product, but we have put its application in place wherever relevant, and we are also building more modules where Gen AI is tightly integrated in the product, right? So let's say if I were to say Java engineer, just an example, then if this was a new job, I was hiring for the first time, then I can always just click on generate using Psych AI and generate the description for this particular job. And of course, in the meantime, I can just fill in other details. Let me just. Right. So you saw this, the description gets generated, and now on this you can also make any changes which you want to ensure, right, which will help you make the job description very specific to your exact liking, and then you can sort of run it through hiring manager or other people in the company who are in the panel, and then you can close on this posting, right? So let me just close this particular loop for now. You can also choose a target hire by date so that you have a clear-cut deadline on which you have to close this position before that, right? And then other information pieces on salary and other things. Right. So quick, creation of JD, like you saw, and then you can have the steps on the pipeline. So what happens is that every job has a different process under which it goes. Sales will have a completely different process as compared to a technical position per se. So a recruiter can create their own positions, sorry, their own pipelines, and just go about the same and then publish it. So you can just save it, and you can like add as many rounds and always come back and edit this later, and then you can post this job on career portal. So we have for now created careers portal. Integration with LinkedIn is also in the works, so let's just publish this job at the moment. Right, so Java engineer is now published. No candidates for this now, so it shows an empty record. And like I said, you have already seen the employee facing part of the application, recruiter facing part, and now there is also a career site which is auto generated whenever a new talent is created, and that becomes the candidate facing part, from wherein they can just do a one touch application for a new job which is posted, and then the application just comes, and the recruiter who is hiring for it also gets a notification in the inbox along with the resume and other profile link that you have this person who has applied for this job, right? So this is how it looks like, and this is a candidate facing app. This link can be posted anywhere to get applicants on this job, on WhatsApp, on social media and else, and I can just click on apply now, submit my resume, it gets passed, and I can just submit the same. Okay. So let me just go to a job which has more data. So this is one sample which I can probably choose. So this view, job-based pipeline view, gives you a lot of capabilities for a recruiter facing module, for day-to-day activities that they have to dispose of. Look at in detail capabilities that this particular view offers. First, of course, you can see multiple candidates spread out across the standard stages such as source applied and the custom stages that you would have created, like phone screen, on-site coding, bug bash, and the rest. You can always sort of filter out the view which you want to see basis multiple aspects such as stages, data of application, and the sources from which the data has come, right? All of these filters are possible. You can also quickly always search a particular if you want to quickly, if you're thinking of a name and you want to check where is that particular person in the process, you can just type out and view that particular profile as well. Now it also gives you a lot of capabilities to change stages on the go. So let's say I would say Utkarsh is an on-site coding stage. I click on Utkarsh and I just click on move to, and I want to move that person to bug bash, then I can just click on it and he moves to a bug bash stage right here, right? And if I want to reject Utkarsh from here itself, then I can do that as well by just clicking on reject. And there are multiple reasons which come in automatically for me to furnish, and if there is some additional feedback also that I want to give, or also send an email to the candidate at the same moment for the rejection, that I can do that as well. All right, so now he has moved to rejection stage, and as you can see, the pipeline for rejection has been increased by from 4 to 5. That count has been increased from 4 to 5, whereas the overall talent pipeline, which was earlier 20, has reduced by 1, right? So all of that changes dynamically to give you highlight of what's happening in the process. You can toggle this view to get a list view of the candidates as well, or the typical Kanban types stage view as well. Okay. Now let me just go to one more job profile. So over here you can of course see what organization they have last worked for, and you can also see the total number of experience that they have so far. So this is what the information currently housed in the cards represents, and we are also building other capabilities on the information that is shown to them. Now let's just go through a particular profile from here and see what it does. So let's click on Jasmita Ali. So whatever application data was there through a resume, that gets parsed. Some skill informant also have been sent. Then you see basis the JD what skills could be. The key skills for this particular applicant and other experiences are shown chronologically. The system also sort of calculates the total experience and then shows it over here, right? So all the key information for a candidate is shown on the left. The resume that you upload is also shown separately, okay, so that you can see any other information which is not here in the profile page per se, which is the past information from resume over here, right? And then you can have comments. Comments, what they mean is that you can tag somebody in your organization. That person could be a part of the panel, or somebody whom you want to just get some sort of feedback. Then you can right, so just sort of tag them, and then they get this feedback over email. Then they can just sort of check with this link and then sort of give their comments, which could be posted here, right? So this is just another of our approaches. So this capability also would be completely on Slack in a while, that you tag somebody, they get a notification on Slack, and then they give their inputs there itself, and it comes to this system seamlessly, right? We have a full-fledged feedback management on a particular candidate in process. You can so whatever custom rounds you create, feedback stages already, every profile will have different job for which they are in process, and when you click on feedback, the drop downs which you see would be the custom stages of that particular job, right? So on-site and coding, so other two have already given, hiring manager and phone screen. So on-site coding is left, so I can just give my opinion, strong yes, no, whatever that could be, and I can choose my feedback. I can add any number of other parameters I want to. They can also be defined from the backend through admin, and then I can do this. I can also add generic other feedbacks, on the candidate. All right, so this is how it comes over here. And then we also have full-fledged engagement. So the elements on the right also give you a lot of capabilities on rejection. They give you capabilities on adding feedback so that even if you are in this stage, right, you can quickly click on this and do this. So all the key actions which are there, they happen from here as well. And then you have the engagement module, which shows you the history of the engagement which has happened with the candidate previously, right? So you can schedule an interview from the system, and then the recipient and the sender both get a calendar invite along with the meeting joining link. You can send an email. We also give capability of templatized email communication. We will come to this later as well. We are also putting an element of generative AI in place for this as well, right? So you quickly choose introduction email, just an example. All the data is through mail merge fields. The email would be completely personalized, and then the recipient can just see and sort of, the recruiter bandwidth to write something gets expedited. So these three are standard templates which we give, and we give capability to tenants to create any templates of their own, which I will come to shortly. Okay. From here, you can always change the stage. You can change it to offered, let's say, right, quickly, and then stage, get the status, and then the stage of the candidate has moved to offered, and then you will be able to see that this person is now in the offered stage. Okay. Let me also show you some more aspect of how the activity history on a candidate looks like from a particular profile. Right, so this is one profile which has a lot of engagement data already in place. So you can see if an interview invite was sent, how it looks like, who is the interviewer, who took the particular last round. The email also which is sent, that's also completely reflected over here along with the timestamp. We're also building modules on sort of candidate engagement scoring, so that when they actually read the email or they click on a link in the email, you can measure that engagement, right? So that's one of our approach to build a more engaging CRM approach, that you also have other profile related scores of a candidate, but you also have engagement score of a candidate, which shows you how much you could say they have propensity to view your communication, how much they like your brand passively, right? You can sort of see all of these things through that behavior through your digital touch points. And since you rejected this candidate, if you want to re-enroll this candidate again in the thick of things for a job, then you can just click on that, and then the candidate again goes to the applied stage, and right? So then the whole loop can begin again. Um, from all jobs, I can see all the jobs which are currently live for my organization. They give all the information on job type, salary, priority, and a lot of other things. You can also do a list view, and of course the card view is available as well. Again, you can do a lot of filtering, department wise, priority wise, to filter out the view which is there, and of course always search quickly. We have also given a star mark capability, so that if any job has a lot of priority for you, then you can just mark that as favorite, and then it would start appearing over here, so that you can quickly access, the recruiter can quickly access this without going into the things again and again. All right, so we have seen a lot of you could say navigation and UI UX on the candidate and the job front. Now let's go to the admin side of things. So on the admin side of things, let's go to settings, organization. So over here you have all the departments for which you're hiring, locations for which you're hiring. So as you saw earlier, when we are creating a job, all this data comes in those drop downs, so that you can quickly create a new job or a new location. And of course you can upload your logo. So this is also, like I earlier mentioned, the career site gets auto created, and you can link with your main website to have a very seamless application experience. So this gives the candidates all the filters that they want to see: part-time jobs, they want to see internships, they want to see contract jobs, whatever it could be, right? And then the view changes accordingly. They can also do filtering by location and all, and we have also got like departmental wise indication, customer success, design, engineering, and likewise it goes on, right? So no additional work to be done to set this up. Your logo and your organization's description will come up over here for you to sort of give a personal touch to the website, and then it can also be hosted on your subdomain, so that it looks like it's completely a part of your website, right? You can add new members. Those members could be panelists. There could be somebody who you want to sort of vet a particular profile, see if the fit is right, and likewise, right, you can click on add user, just type out their email address, and then select the role and add them, right? And then, like, coming back to email templates, like I mentioned, these are three options which we give already, and then you can choose from the template, and then you can write a subject. You can just sort of create it for your data communication to be expedited, right? And you can save as many of them. We will also give GenAI capabilities over here pretty soon, so that whenever you write out a subject, let's say the email is for salary, you could say discussing on a particular aspect of the round, or doing initial culture fitment, right? So all of that is automatically generated in a matter of few seconds, and HRs can then build on this. So the reason we are giving these capabilities tightly integrated in the product is that we want to have good recruiter stickiness in the product, and that is built when you have a lot of other items which recruiters want to refer on a day-to-day basis inbound in the product, right? So this is one thing. Similarly, we are also building an interview blueprint designer, through that this is one job, this is an example. Then we will also have an option of an interview blueprint design, so that whenever I create a new job, you could say top 25 questions which should be asked technically and business wise to close on that job would automatically get generated and be shown in a particular snippet over here, right? So it's just a lot of content driven approach we want to embed in the product, so that recruiters do not need to go to any external platform to do sort of check out all these information pointers for their product. Coming to integrations, we have built 3 integrations at the moment, because we have sort of chosen Slack plus Google as the initial workspaces which we are targeting. So Gmail, Google Calendar, and Slack is already in place, and we are next building on Outlook and also Zoom, so that we have more entry points into other customers as well who might be using those spaces. Enterprise customers, also larger ones, they do have more share of usage of Teams, right? So that's some discussion on integrations. And we are also, like I mentioned earlier, LinkedIn is under approval, so that will also be live, so that we have more sourcing and sort of job posting platforms in place. All right. So one thing which I would always like to show again is that I had created a new job recently, right? And just to show, right? So this notification, came over here, and then uh, this was a point which we discussed earlier, that whenever you create a new job, everybody in the organization gets notification, and then I can now go about and refer people for this particular job. Okay. Right. So thank you so much for watching. This is what we have built, over the last 4 5 months, with a lot of feedback from our initial, team HR advisors with whom we built the product. Every design which we tested was with a lot of feedback from potential users, and we are consistently building more modules. We have around 5 6 accounts who are using the product day in and day out. So a lot of feedbacks come from them, and we sort of refresh the product accordingly. Uh, Over the next 1 month, we would be building a lot of modules on Slack, because that's where the differentiated part of the product largely lies. So interview feedback and some recruitment marketing related Gen AI capabilities would be available completely through Slack. And then the ATS part, or the talent CRM part of the side, would keep being developed. More and more integrations which would be added, and generative AI would be put in place at multiple aspects to improve this as a comprehensive offering, right? Please reach out for any questions at raj@daybreakhire.com. I would look forward to your suggestions, and looking forward to building Daybreak with your help and support. Thank you so much. Take care.